Hello and welcome back to Inside the Inferno. I'm Kayla Marinot, and next to me, making her anchor debut, is Kendall Flynn. And Kendall, we have a packed show today.
Thanks, Kayla. I'm excited to spend my first show here at the desk with you. ASU football season is a wrap and basketball is just getting started. We have no shortage of updates for you today. Arizona State had their last final Pac-12 game in Tempe last week. The oldest trophy in college football returned to Tempe after being brought back to Tucson last year. ASU battled against University of Arizona in the 97th Territorial Cup game, hoping to keep the cup in Tempe. Our Carly Koskovich has more.
Rivalry weekend in Arizona was far from boring as the University of Arizona Wildcats brought the Territorial Cup to Tempe just to take it right back home to Tucson. After taking the loss at home from their rivals down south, it's clear that Arizona State has hit their breaking point in the world of football.
Even though it's not fun to lose games like this, it's not fun for all this stuff, sometimes it's needed. Sometimes you have to hit rock bottom to bounce back up.
The plan going into the game was to start true freshman Jaden Rashada. However, once the whistle blew, tight end Jalen Conyers was the one calling the snaps.
I was just trying to do my best to be ready. He came and told me, warm us over and start out and, that formation and stuff. And I told him, all right, we ran the ball really well in the first, couple runs, and after that, kind of slowed up a little bit, and then, got it back again in the back half of the game. So, obviously he's cool, big quarterback, but, we didn't come on top, so that's all that matters. So.
As the score gap grew larger and larger, it became harder and harder for the Sun Devil fans to watch.
We got to make plays. At the end of the day, in the secondary, we got to make plays, and we didn't. So we won the game.
Fortunately for the Sun Devils, both teams will be moving over to the Big 12. This gives an opportunity for Dillingham's squad to get that Territorial Cup back. For Inferno Intel, I'm Carly Koskovich.
Thanks, Carly. Arizona State wasn't able to pull off a win at the Territorial Cup against Arizona, falling 59-23 to the Wildcats. With no chance at the bowl this season and a final 3-9 record, there are many ups and downs to the Sun Devils' time on the field to go over. Our Ben Yates has just that with the season wrap-up.
Yeah, thanks, Kayla. Head coach Kenny Dillingham said that he faced more adversity this season than he had at any other coaching job in his entire career. And this board right here may just back up that claim. The Sun Devils finished with the season with 3 wins and 9 losses, which is exactly the same record as last year. You know what they say, pressure makes diamonds unless you're Arizona State. Let's just rewind here for a second with the Southern Utah, right here. Right before that, though, beginning of the season, Ray Anderson announced the self-imposed bowl ban on the program the week of this home opener. Just a quick refresher, the haboob that took place just before halftime delayed that game for several hours into the night. Almost an empty stadium by the time the game was over. But hey, a win's a win. Next game was where everything just took a huge turn for the worse. Players out for weeks. This game, especially with the offense, they just got demolished, which cascaded into the 6-game losing streak just to wrap up the bye week here. Nonetheless, 1-5 record going into that bye week before the Washington game in Seattle was close, very close, but not good enough. This game against Washington State, however, highlight reels for senior running back DeCarlos Brooks and junior running back Cam Scadaboo. And then we see a couple big competitors 4 in a row here, starting with Utah, who handed ASU the biggest loss of this season. But hang on, a rebound here with the UCLA game. That's just when months of scrutiny and upset fan base led to an athletic director resignation by Ray Anderson following that Monday morning. But then reality set back in. It's the time for Oregon Ducks. Kenny Dillingham was an assistant coach there last year. And now the Ducks and Wildcats come into Tempe and took no prisoners, especially with Arizona having a halftime lead 38-7. And now with the season over, we look at all the wins and losses here. There's a lot to be proud of, and then, not so much. One thing the team, didn't get worse from last year. That's one. And 2, this UCLA game right here, winning in the Rose Bowl, may just be the best accomplishment of Dillingham's early resume. And it's no small feat. Not an overall season to be proud of, but this is a process, and Dillingham is committed to the long haul, as we'll see what's in store next fall when the Sun Devils entering their first offseason of trusting the process.
Thanks, Ben. The Territorial Cup marked the return of redshirt freshman quarterback Jaden Rashada, who went out with an injury after just 2 games.
Following the 7-game starting streak of third-string redshirt junior quarterback Trenton Borgett, our Adam Coonan is here to show how Rashada performed.
Thanks, Kayla. In Arizona State's final game of the season, freshman starting quarterback Jaden Rashada made his much-awaited return from injury to try and lead the Sun Devils to an upset victory in the Territorial Cup. So it's time for the first ever edition of Grading Jaden. Here are the stats for Rashada in this one, and in all honesty, Jaden's inexperience showed as he struggled against the Wildcats. 2 interceptions for Rashada and a mere 82 passing yards on the day. Let's take a look at what went wrong for Jaden. Here's his first of 2 interceptions. Rashada stares down his receiver and floats this into heavy traffic. Jaden doesn't see the linebacker work back towards the middle, and he lofts this one into duress, an easy interception for the Wildcats. He can't stare his receivers down, and he does it again here on this second interception across the middle. The safety plays it well, comes down to pick that one off. I'm not too sure what Jaden saw on this, as you can see the one high safety here. This ball has to go to the outside, or he has to take off, but this throw across the middle is not going to work, and it's his second interception of the day. Another common theme throughout the day is pressure on Rashada, as once again here he faces the heat, unable to get it off, and he's sacked. But here's some positives. A nice run here showing the athleticism, lunging towards the end zone, almost gets in, picks up the first down. And then here's his best throw of the day. He launches this one deep to Troy O'Meary, who goes full extension to make the catch. Let's take another look at this one, as O'Meary with a beautiful catch going full extension, and Rashada with a really nice throw to place it where only his receiver can get it. But overall, a tough day for Jaden as he struggles in this blowout loss to Arizona. He gets a D grade on the day, only a 63% for him. Now, we do have to mention this was his first game back after a 9-week absence, but his rust and inexperience were on display in this one. Despite the struggles, Sun Devils fans should look forward to year 2 of the Jaden Rashada era, as he now has a full offseason to learn under quarterback guru Kenny Dillingham and develop into Dillingham's next great quarterback of the future.
Thanks, Adam. Let's transition to ASU basketball, starting with men's, who spent its Thanksgiving weekend at the Vegas Showdown. With games against Brigham Young and Vanderbilt, it was quite the showdown to watch. ASU came away with just 1 win at 82-67 against Vanderbilt. Our Jack Bartlett was there to recap the weekend.
The tryptophan and turkey kicked in early for ASU hoops on Thanksgiving night as the Sun Devils fell big to BYU in its first game of the Vegas Showdown.
We didn't do things that, they were more physical than us. They rebounded the ball way better. We outscored 20-3 and on the offensive glass. So just thought we did a halfway decent job, especially in the first half of contesting the 3-point shots. They're an extremely good 3-point shooting team. But they're an older team, and they've been able to have good returning players. Like their bench is really good. I think BYU's got a chance to be a really good team this year.
The Cougars' 3-point offense was highlighted by Noah Waterman, who shot 6 for 9 behind the arc against Bobby Hurley's squad. As a team, they shot 42.4% from 3. While the Sun Devils couldn't guard the 3 against BYU, they also struggled to make shots in that game.
We had our chances early, I think, to get to a better rhythm. I thought we had some decent looks, and there was a lid on the basket, and it snowballed on us. But it's been a common thread the last couple of weeks since prior to the season starting. Just things have surfaced that really I wasn't seeing a lot in preseason. We haven't shot well from 3 in one game yet. We haven't shot our free throws well, which was something that's pretty surprising.
Despite a big loss, ASU picked their heads up in a win against Vanderbilt on Friday for the 3rd place game.
I saw something coming with Gaffney. I thought it might have been last night, or I was hoping. He's been practicing very well. He was in foul trouble, though, early in that game, but he really had it going. He got us off to a great start.
Alonzo Gaffney took a page out of Waterman's playbook, shooting 5 for 7 from deep against the Commodores.
Yeah, I worked a lot in this summer, so I didn't expect me to be shooting the ball how I have these last couple games, but so just being open and finding my rhythm and out there and hitting open shots. So.
ASU faces Sam Houston on Wednesday night for its final game in November. From Las Vegas, Jack Bartlett, Inferno in town.
Arizona State faced the Sam Houston Bearcats Wednesday, November 29th. The matchup marks the second time these programs have competed on the court. The Sun Devils showed their dominance on the court, continuing to grow as a team.
I had the opportunity to go to the game and catch all of the maroon and gold action.
Arizona State men's basketball returned to the desert after competing in the Vegas Showdown, in which they split a pair of games against Power 5 competition. The Sun Devils welcomed the Sam Houston Bearcats to Desert Financial Wednesday, November 29th, marking the second meeting between the two programs. Strong defense from the Sun Devils gave the Bearcats no chance, as ASU effortlessly won with a final score of 78-61.
We really competed defensively. It was our best half in the first half of getting deflections, and you know, it got us in a position where we're getting stops, and thought we might be able to run, you know, on Sam Houston in transition. They play very hard. We thought that might have been something that we could exploit, and fortunately we had the stops that we were able to get some baskets in transition. So it's fun to watch the guys play that way tonight.
With 28 fast break points and 18 points off turnovers, the Sun Devils transformed defense into offense on their way to victory against the Bearcats. The Bearcats were only able to shoot 35.3% from the field, while ASU forced more than 15 turnovers for the fourth time in 6 games. The Sun Devils shot 33 of 64 from the field, marking back-to-back games in which they shot above 50%.
We're really good shooters. Everybody on the team can shoot, from Frankie to Jemiah to Zoe to Kamari. We really have really good shooters. It's just a confidence thing, I feel like. They're going to start balling when it matters, I believe, in this team and for all of us.
The Sun Devils stormed the glass and smashed 23 rebounds in the first half, the most in a first half this season. The team's physicality was evident, as they grabbed a total of 42 rebounds on the night, the second time this year that the Sun Devils have crossed the 40-plus mark.
With Zane and Sean out, that we would have to step up, and we're all big athletic guards, so we knew that we can go in there, and we had to really help Brian and Zoe and those guys out in the paint. So us going to get, I think he had 8 rebounds, I had 8 rebounds, I think Frank had 6 or 7, that's big. We just got to continue to do that every night.
The Sun Devils started off strong against the Bearcats tonight. They continued that momentum throughout the game, winning by 17. A player to keep an eye out for the next game is Jose Perez, as he continues to show his dominance, leading all scorers tonight with 24 points. ASU welcomes the San Francisco Dons to the desert on Sunday at 1 p.m.
In Tempe for Inferno and Tell, I'm Kayla Marinoff.
Thanks for that, Kayla. Like men's, ASU women's basketball spent its holiday weekend away from Desert Financial Arena with the Paradise Jam in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
The Sun Devils won 2 of its 3 games, bringing them to 6-2. Our Kobe Brunstein has more.
Thanks, guys. ASU women's basketball spent Thanksgiving weekend playing in the U.S. Virgin Islands Paradise Jam. They played 3 games in 3 days as part of the Reef Division, starting off slow before feasting on their last 2 opponents. The Sun Devils ran into a juggernaut in number 12 Texas to open the tournament, losing 84-42. Turnovers doomed the Sun Devils, coughing up 27 total while also failing to connect on a single 3-pointer behind the arc. ASU quickly put that loss in the rearview mirror, winning the following day against the University of South Florida 66-49. 3 Sun Devils reached the double-digit mark, with sophomore Trey Crisp leading the way with 17 points off the bench. ASU carried that momentum into a matchup with High Point University the following day, triumphing to a 77-69 victory. Sophomore guard Jalen Brown tallied a career-high 20 points, and senior guard Treasure Hunt poured in 19 more herself to push the Sun Devils' record to 6-2 on the season. Desert Financial Arena hosts the Brianne January Classic this weekend, and the Sun Devils take on Pacific University and the Xavier Musketeers in back-to-back days.
Thanks, Kobe. Moving on to the ice, Arizona State men's hockey continues to dominate. The Sun Devils welcomed the 9th-ranked Providence College Friars to Mullet Arena last weekend. Our Parker Bay has more.
This past Friday at Mullet Arena, number 13 ranked Arizona State Hockey debuted their black jerseys in anticipation of a blackout as they took on number 9 ranked Providence College. Dylan Jackson sent ASU fans home happy, delivering the game-winning goal in overtime on a breakaway. The Sun Devils remained perfect in extra time on home ice this season. Jackson broke down what he saw in the moment, saying,
I thought you did a little bit, and then they didn't blow the whistle, so I saw that guy hesitate, and I thought I could poke it around him, so I just kept going and kind of got lucky there. But, yeah.
Arizona State's third line came up clutch again this weekend as Alex Young scored 2 goals against the Friars. After struggling to get on the score sheet so far this season, Young gave his thoughts on his approach to his game on Friday, saying,
I think just really taking shots at any time I get the chance, and like I saw in my first goal, that kind of took a shot from far out with the defenseman screening, and it happened to find a way in. So just really getting pucks on net and trying to get a lucky one and get the confidence back, and I think that's what happened tonight. And last Sunday I had a good game and had my confidence going again, so just shooting pucks and getting pucks.
However, Providence wouldn't go down without a fight. The Friars scored 3 second-period goals, giving them a 3-2 lead heading into period number 3. Tyler Gratton would equalize the score at 3-3 in the third with this sliding goal. Providence would find the back of the net, giving them a short-lived 4-3 lead as the goal was called off due to offsides. ASU struggled on their man advantage, going 0 for 7 on the power play. Head coach Greg Powers commented on the team's struggles, saying,
"The power play had some really good looks. It just wasn't going in for it tonight. But yeah, again, we're a resilient group. We really are, and so we never feel like we're out of a game. That team is really good. They're a very, very well-built, well-constructed hockey team that we beat in our building, and we're going to have to be a lot better Sunday to get a win than we were tonight."
Another exciting win here at the Mullet as ASU wins in overtime 4-3 over the number 9 ranked Providence College, thanks to Alex Young's 2-goal performance, 38 stops for TJ Septon-Felter, and Dylan Jackson delivering the game-winning goal. In Tempe, Parker Bay, Inferno and Tell.
Thanks, Parker. Despite their win against Providence in Game 1, the Sun Devil Hockey split the series with the Friars in a 2-1 loss Sunday night. With this, they will hope to regain a win streak and maybe pick up their 5th series sweep as they travel to Colorado Springs to take on the Colorado College Tigers. Our Lachlan McTav has the preview.
Thanks, Kayla. The Sun Devils will face off once again with another future NCHC opponent in the Colorado College Tigers. ASU will head up to Colorado Springs for a 2-game series after finishing up a successful 8-game homestand, going 6-2 and taking down 2 ranked opponents. They will need to get over another hump this season, winning on the road. The Tigers have started 7-5, which is their best start since the 2017-2018 season. This group of Colorado College Tigers is hungry, and so far, the freshmen and sophomores have scored 30 of the team's 41 goals and accounted for over half of the team's production so far. Backstopping this group is sophomore goalie Jaden Rashada, who was named to the preseason All-NCHC team and has already received Goalie of the Week honors in the conference. Although the Tigers struggled against Denver, losing both contests decisively, they did sweep Miami, Ohio on the road, which was something ASU was unable to do. For ASU, scoring has been quite the opposite. The Sun Devil seniors have scored 29 of the team's 48 goals, including seniors chipping in on 14 of ASU's 17 power play goals this season. Speaking of that man advantage, the Sun Devils currently have the nation's 5th ranked power play, scoring at a 26.1% clip coming into the weekend. Some Sun Devils are heating up. Dylan Jackson is riding a 4-game point streak. Matthew Coburn is on a 5-game point streak. And Tim Lovell is riding a personal 6-game point streak. ASU is 5-2-1 all time against these Tigers, including last year's sweep at Mullet Arena. This week, Coach Greg Powers said he's leaning on experienced newcomers like Brian Chambers, Brandon Tabakin, and Tyler Gratton to help the team win important games on the road, and especially in this brand new Ed Robson Arena in Colorado Springs. Coming into this series, the Sun Devils are tied for 11th in the nation in goals per game with 3.4. Who is that team they're tied with, you ask? Well, none other than this weekend's opponent, the Colorado College Tigers. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Lachlan. ASU Wrestling heads to Vegas this weekend for the annual Cliff King Las Vegas Invitational. Injuries have hurt the Sun Devils in the early going of the season, as they boast just 1 win with 2 losses coming into North Carolina and Mizzou.
Head coach Zeke Jones tells us who to expect in the lineup for Vegas and how long 125-pound Richie Figueroa and heavyweight Colton Schultz will be out.
Yeah, we'll get Kyle back. He'll be down to weight. We'll get Ja'Cory back, which is good. We'll still be without Richie and Colton, one injury and one just competition schedule. So it's happening. It's just happening in stages. We should have Colton and Richie back by Midland/Iowa State.
The Ken Craft Midlands Championship will occur on December 29th and 30th, with the Sun Devils' first home duel against Iowa State on January 6th.
ASU volleyball ended its regular season at 26-6, but its time on the court this year is not over, as its postseason challenge will begin in the NCAA tournament tonight. Here's Kenji Ito with the updates.
Yeah, well, J.J. Van Niel was awarded Pac-12 Coach of the Year in his first season with the Devils. Even bigger news for the ASU women's volleyball team is that they clinched a bid in the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2015. As the number 5 seed, the Devils will face the Georgia Bulldogs in the first round in Provo, Utah. Under J.J. Van Niel, the Devils finished 26-6, defeating number 1 Stanford at home and number 6 Oregon on the road. Fans of the NCAA tournament should be on the lookout for the Lady Devils, as the main player to spotlight on this year's squad is obviously senior outside hitter Marta Levinska. She is number 8 in the nation in kills per set, points, and points per set. The team does have experience in the tournament, as grad student setter Shannon Shields and grad student libero Mary Schroll play for Louisville and LMU respectively. All the games in Provo, Utah can be found on ESPN+. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Kenji. With the semester ending, there are so many memorable moments for ASU athletics across all sports so far. Our Stephen Buxton has just that with a segment called Stephen's Inferno 5.
It's been a great semester for ASU sports. All sorts of incredible plays and moments, whether it's a big game-winning goal or a save, they were all considered. But in the end, there were only 5 that could make the final cut. So here are my top 5 moments of the semester. At number 5, ASU men's basketball started off 1-1, and for a moment it looked like they were about to take their second loss of the season when they were down 10 to UMass Lowell in the final minutes of the game. But with it all on the line, junior guard Frankie Collins came through making key shots and eventually going down the length of the court, splitting a pair of defenders and putting up the final points of the game to put ASU up 2 with just over a second left. Taking it outside to the field with the number 4 spot, the Sun Devils had a tough year in football, but one guy made it look easy every week, and it was Cam Scadaboo. The senior running back came over from Sacramento State before this season and was a highlight reel every time he touched the ball. But none of his plays were more impressive than what he did in Week 10 at the Rose Bowl. Scadaboo showed that he could do it all when head coach Kenny Dillingham went to the back of the playbook and put him in at Wildcat. Scadaboo took the ball at the 30-yard line and fired a strike into the arms of Elijah Badger for a touchdown, giving the Sun Devils a 10-point lead in the third quarter against UCLA. At the number 3 spot, we're going to take a look at volleyball. We've talked about them multiple times throughout the program, and we're going to give them another appearance. They made the NCAA tournament in a season filled with big moments, but one of the biggest was their performance against their rivals down south. The Sun Devils opened up the year with a win against the Wildcats to cap off their incredible regular season, and they made a statement when they went into Tempe for the final match of the season and took it 3-0, having swept U of A this year and not losing a single set in the process. The only thing in their season that could top sweeping U of A, my number 2 moment of the year, on October 29th, when the Sun Devils were in the midst of one of their best starts in years, they backed it up at Mullet Arena. ASU was taking on one of the behemoths of the sport, number 3 ranked Stanford, and they didn't even give them a chance. The Sun Devils take down the Cardinal in 3 sets, the best of many amazing moments in their season. But there's still one moment that tops the list, one goal, one of many possibly program-altering wins that we've seen over the last year from this team. At number 1 is hockey's overtime winner versus Denver. The Sun Devils, slowly climbing the rankings at the time, welcomed in what is the gold standard of college hockey, the program they strive to be, the program that they built Mullet Arena to host games against. the same team that will be their second closest geographical rival when they join the NCAHC next season. The number 2 ranked Denver Pioneers came into a hostile Mullet arena, and the teams went blow for blow in a game for the ages. But it all came down to that home ice, the Mullet magic. The Sun Devils entered the game undefeated in overtime and games at Mullet. And it was the captain finishing it off, Tyler Gratton. He sent the fans home happy with his overtime goal, while also earning himself the top spot on my list for the top moments in ASU sports this semester.
Thanks, Stephen. With that, our end of the fall semester show has come to an end. That does it for us here in the studio today. Thank you for tuning in.
Make sure to stay up to date on our in-depth coverage of ASU athletics through our written content on our website at infernointelmedia.com, as well as on our social media at Inferno Intel for even more updates. We'll be back in January, but until then, from our family at Inferno Intel to yours, we say,
Happy Holidays!